with the upcoming release of Lightfall, our mods are about to be changed forever. With that knowledge, a lot of our current builds in the game aren't going to perform the way they are right now. So I wanted to start a series leading up to Lightfall where I make a build with every single class and subclass that we currently have in the game. These builds are not going to take advantage of any combat style mods and heavily focus on fragments, exotics, and aspects. Normally, if you use these builds with mods equipped, it is just the cherry on top. And of course, before you start doing anything in Lightfall, you can obviously take a look at the new mod system and try to insert what you think might work. This is just supposed to be a clean slate and give you all an idea of what is some of the strongest stuff in the game right now for each of the classes. If anything changes in the future, I will make an updated video talking about what I think could be better. And like I said, if you're interested in every single class and subclass, be sure to check out the channel and give the series a watch. So in this one, I want to go over the Void Warlock, probably one of the most fun and just well-rounded builds in the entire game. This build is extremely strong for act clear and also doing a lot of single target damage. And while all that's going on, you also are pretty much unkillable with things like Devour being active all the time. This build will give you infinite grenade energy without the need of running any combat style mods. And I imagine when Lightfall launches, it is going to be even stronger. All right, so starting off, let's take a look at our subclass, and the aspects we're going to be running is Chaos Accelerant and Feed the Void. If you don't know what these do, Chaos Accelerant is a fragment that will let you charge up your grenade and give your grenade additional benefits. I specifically like to run Vortex Grenade with this build, so this means now when I charge my grenade up, my Vortex will have increased size and the linger duration will last a little bit longer. Now, I also like to run Feed the Void with this, so whenever I defeat a target with a Void ability, it will activate Devour. And if you don't know what Devour does, if you get a kill while this is active, it will extend the timer, heal you to full, and give you a huge chunk of grenade energy back. Devour is extremely easy to keep up on the Warlock with the aspect Feed the Void, since you're going to be getting grenade kills pretty much all the time. Devour makes any hard content in the game, such as things like the Day 1 Legendary Campaign or even the Day 1 raid, a whole lot easier because it just makes you extremely hard to kill. Now for Rift, I do run an Empowering Rift since we're going to get a lot of healing from Devour. This just means I will now have a way to do some extra damage to bosses, which is really nice. And I like to throw a Cataclysm Nova Bomb on here. You can also run Vortex if you would like to, but Cataclysm just does a little bit more damage, so that's why I would recommend that one. Now for fragments, I like to run Echo of Remnant. So your lingering grenade effects, Vortex Grenade, Void Wall, Void Spike, and Axie Bolt have increased duration. So this is going to pair extremely well with Chaos Accelerant, giving your Vortex Grenade a very long uptime, and that will allow you to kill a lot of enemies in it. And on top of that, you'll be able to weaken enemies with Echo of Undermining, so your Void Grenades weakens targets. This will apply a 15% weaken on your enemies, which makes it really easy for your grenade to just secure a kill. But on top of that, if you're in a boss scenario, you can throw your grenade on a boss, weaken them, and your Empowering will give you more damage, which is a buff, and then you could just do a lot of damage with those two paired together. And finally, I like to run Echo of Instability, so defeating targets with the grenades grants volatile rounds to your Void weapons. Now this is going to have a lot of different benefits. Not only is volatile extremely strong, but in Lightfall, if you actually shoot volatile rounds from your weapon, this will actually apply anti-barrier to them. So this basically is giving you really good act clear and intrinsic anti-barrier. Now the exotic to pair with this build is for sure Controverse Hold. So this has the exotic perk Chaos Accelerant. Resist incoming damage while charging your Void Grenade. Charge Void Grenades, return grenade energy on hit. So this is not only really good for just getting your grenade energy back when you hit enemies with the grenades, but on top of that, when you're charging that grenade up, you take reduced damage. You can use this for things like securing reses if your teammate's out in the open, or if you're just in a clutch situation where you need to live, just hold down your grenade, try to get away, and you'll be good to go. Remember, your grenade will also proc Devour, so you can throw that grenade after getting out of that situation to heal back to max immediately. Also, the grenade regeneration from this exotic is random, but you still get a relatively good chunk. On average, you're going to get half your grenade back pretty much all the time, and that's really good if you are using your grenades on things like champions or bosses, whereas things like Nothing Manacles or Nezarec Sin, you won't get any energy back due to the fact that they don't work on hits, but more so getting kills. And that's why I pretty much always prefer Controverse Hold for in-game content. Now, weapons for this build actually matter a lot due to the fact that match game is going away, and you're going to be able to run this loadout pretty much everywhere in the game. Now, for starters, I'm definitely taking a Chill Clip Fusion Rifle. If you don't know, this will have access to stun, overload, and unstoppable champions. The slow will stun overload, and then when you freeze and shatter an enemy, that will stun the unstoppable champion. So if you remember, your volatile rounds weapon will actually be granting anti-barrier, whereas this will stun the overload and unstoppable. So you have access to all three champion mods without having to take anything from the artifact or having to use some sort of exotic that has intrinsic stuff built into it. Now for specials, I think the Unforgiven is by far the best option. If you like Funnel Web, you can definitely go for that as well. But with Unforgiven, you can get Demo in the first column, which pairs extremely well with Devour, because Devour is going to give you that grenade energy when you get kills. Demo is also going to give you that grenade energy. They're going to stack together and you're going to be able to chain grenades everywhere. Now in the second column, you can have golden tricorn, which is going to give you a damage buff when you get a kill, and then if you get an ability kill that matches your damage type, this will give you a 50% damage increase. Pairing that with volatile rounds, your primary weapon will just melt through enemies, which is very, very nice. But if you don't want that damage, this also can roll with repulsive brace. So when you get a void debuff kill, you'll be granted an overshield. So since you're getting a lot of kills with volatile rounds, you're always going to have an overshield, which is really, really good. It's whatever route you want to go. I prefer the golden tricorn route, but if you want to try out repulsive brace, definitely give that a shot. Then for heavy, we don't know exactly what's going to be the meta in Lightfall. I just have a sleeper simulant on here right now. I think this could be a really good option, but obviously have a good rocket, maybe a good grenade launcher, anything like that, and you will be set up for success. Then for stats, always go 100 resilience and 100 discipline. 100 resilience is only going to give you 30% damage reduction, so it's going to have 10% less than what we currently have, but even with that, with Devour, you're still going to be extremely tanky. And obviously discipline will give your grenade back as much as possible. And if you can't get another 100 set, I would definitely go for recovery. It is going to be a little bit more difficult due to the fact that you have a negative 20 stat on one of your fragments, but if you can get that, having 100 recovery is going to be the way to go, so you can have more power and rifts whenever you need them. Now for mods, again, no combat style mods since this is get changed up completely, but for mods we know are staying are things like ashes to assets. This is going to give you bonus super energy on grenade kills. Since this whole build is around spamming grenades, this mod is a no-brainer to take. It is extremely strong. You're going to be able to spam nova bombs like crazy. The amount of super energy you get back from this is just honestly absurd. If you want to run a harmonic siphon to make orbs, you can definitely do that, since picking up orbs will give you armor charges in Lightfall. But as of right now, since we don't know exactly how all that's going to work, and you don't really need it for other mods like you do with some builds, I just have a double on here to get as much super energy as possible. Now I also run a SMG loader so I can increase the reload speed of my Unforgiven. I just like to run this since it does have a lower reload speed compared to some other weapons, so that just kind of helps out with that, since that's pretty much going to be my main weapon, since I can now use it as my main weapon everywhere in the game because there's no match game now. But then I'm also going to be running a bolstering detonation, so this is going to grant me class ability energy when I cause damage with a grenade. So like I said, you want to have that rift up as much as possible for any boss, DPS scenario, so you can get that extra damage. So this will just help out with that, so you can always make sure you're just getting energy back, because you're always going to be throwing grenades everywhere. Now, like I say in all these videos, always take your resilience mods. Things like energy diffusion substrate will be an unlockable perk in Lightfall, so you definitely remember to put on your permanent ones. We may see more in Lightfall, not exactly sure, but just whatever you get into, make sure you have the right mods equipped. And then honestly for legs, I would just recommend running a scavenger for whatever heavy weapon you're going to be running. You don't really need to take advantage of things like innervation or recuperation, because you're always getting your grenades and health back 24/7 anyway. If you do want to change this to a void energy type, you could have this set up so when you pick up an orb of power, it will grant you class ability energy, but you don't even really need that, since you're really only using that for high health targets or boss situations, so you're going to have it back anyway. So I would just recommend taking a rocket launcher scavenger, because that costs 5 energy, and that will give you more access to put in other combat style mods when Lightfall does come out. And then finally, same thing for the bond. You could run double bomber, but you don't really need it, so I just opted into taking utility kickstart. So when your class ability energy is fully expanded, you will actually gain some class ability energy. If you're running 2 of these, you essentially are going to be getting around 20% of your energy back once you cast your rift. And on top of having bolstering detonation, again, you're always going to have this rift back pretty much all the time whenever you need it. But that is pretty much the build. All you really do is charge your grenade up, throw it. You're going to get Devour proc, which is going to give you more health, a bunch of grenade energy. You're going to get a bunch of super energy with ashes to assets. You're also going to be getting your rift back if you need it. Top of that, you're also going to be granting volatile rounds. Your grenade's going to have a bigger radius, a longer duration. It's going to weaken targets. You have a pretty good super for just doing some extra damage. Nova Bomb is definitely not the best super in the game, but it is still relatively good, again, just for doing some extra single target damage, just to throw it out really quick. Your volatile rounds on your void weapon is going to be doing anti-barrier, alongside chill clip doing overload and unstoppable. So you have access to literally everything in the game. It is extremely easy to play. It's super fun, very effective, and I would highly recommend you all give it a shot. And if you all would like to give it a shot, I will have a dim link to this build in the description below. Let me know what y'all think about it. Let me know if you changed anything up. If you're running a build similar to this, definitely be sure to comment some recommendations of what you're running, so we can all try to make the best builds possible. But I think this is going to do it all for me. If y'all enjoyed learning anything new, consider subscribing, and drop a like, turns notifications on. Also, if you'd like to join my Discord or follow me on any of my socials, all that will be linked in the description as well. But just know watching this video is way more than enough, and that every single bit of support from you all is truly appreciated. Thank you all so much for watching this one, and have a great day. Peace.